Welcome back. Transposing data means moving the row data in a file to a column and column data to a row. Transposing data is useful for data analysis. At times, we have to pull data from various files with different formats for analysis and report preparation. In such circumstances, we may have to transpose some data from one file to the other. In Excel, we can transpose the data in three different ways. Let us discuss each of the methods one by one. The first method is a static method where we will use the Excel paste special feature. So here we have a list of companies, their revenues, profits, and margins in a table. This table is organized horizontally and we want to convert this data into a vertical format. To transpose this data, select the data, press Ctrl C to copy the data, and then click on the cell where you want to move this data. Then right click and select Paste Special. When you click this Paste Special feature, you get this dialog box. In this Paste Special, you select Paste Values and then below you have Transpose. So select Transpose and click OK. This data is pasted in a vertical table format. So this is the first way how we can transpose the data. This is a static method. If we change the data in the original table, the data doesn't change or get updated automatically. We can perform the same feature with the Excel shortcut key. So we select the data and then click the cell where you want to move the data and then press Alt-E-S to open the Paste Special box and then press V and E to transpose the data and then enter. So we get the same table in a vertical format. This is the first method how we can transpose the data in Excel. The second method to transpose the data is using the transpose function in Excel. This function is not too common, so let's understand how to use the transpose function in Excel. To use the transpose function, first we need to count the cells we want to move from this table to the new vertical table format. So here we have 4 rows and we have 10 columns. So we need to select 4 columns and 10 rows. Now we know that our table will fit in this selected range. So we will type is equal to transpose, bracket open, and then we select the range, Shift, Control and right arrow key. So we select the range, close the bracket and then press enter. When we press enter, we see that we get an error. This is because if we just press enter, Excel does not recognize that it is an array function and it is difficult to fit all these values in a single cell. So again, to make this functional, we will again select 4 columns and 10 rows. Now press F2. So we have the transpose function with the range, and now press Ctrl Shift and enter. So once we press Ctrl Shift and enter, we get the table in the vertical format. When we look at the transpose function, we see that there are curly brackets in the beginning and the end, meaning that it is an array function. So this is how we can use the transpose function to transpose the data from a horizontal format to a vertical format and vice versa. The advantage of this method is that if there is a change in data, so for example, if I change the revenues for company A from 1000 to 500, the data in the table gets updated automatically. Moving to the third method of how we can transpose the data. So this is a simple method. Here we can link the individual cells to a table to transpose the data. For example, we have the name of the companies in the row. So we will link cell B4 here and then cell B5 just besides it, cell B6, and similarly we will link the revenues, profits, cell D4 and cell E4 here. This is a manual method and it requires a lot of time and energy. We cannot just copy this formula from here to here because Excel picks the cell after B5, it picks C5, which is not correct. We want B6 over here and not D5 or E5. So there's a simple trick in Excel. What we will do is remove the is equal to sign, and instead of is equal to, we will type SF for the first few cells. So we have SFB4, SFC4, SFD4 and SFE4. Replace the is equal to sign with SF, select the range, and here now select this plus and then drag and drop. So here we see that this SFB4 becomes B5, SFB6, SFB7. So again we'll select the full range, drag it and then leave it. So we get this range. Now select this range, shift and down arrow key and then shift control and right arrow key. We select the range and then press Ctrl H to get the find and replace dialog box. For find, type SF and then replace it with is equal to. Now select replace all. So when you select replace all and click OK, you get the data in the transposed format. We don't have so many cells, so we can select this range and delete. And here we have a data from a vertical table to a horizontal table. So this is how we can transpose the data in multiple ways, from rows to columns and from columns to rows. Hope you liked the session. Thank you.